crore, showing 80% growth in tax base. I thank the honest taxpayers of India for reposing faith in our government. Let me assure them that we have used their contribution to serve the poor and create better infrastructure. The Income Tax Department now functions online. Returns, assessments, refunds, and queries are all undertaken online. Last year, 99.54% of all returns, इंडिविजुअल के हो, व्यापारी के हो, उद्योग के हो, सभी रिटर्न्स का 99.54%, 99.54% रिटर्न्स को एक्सेप्ट कर दिया गया जैसे फाइल हुए, बिना कोई स्क्रूटनी, बिना कोई अधिक कार्रवाई. Our government has now approved a path-breaking technology-intensive project to transform the Income Tax Department into a more assessee-friendly one. All returns will be processed in 24 hours and refunds issued simultaneously. Within the next 2 years, और ये बहुत important बात है, within the next 2 years, almost all verification and assessment of returns selected for scrutiny also will be done electronically through an anonymized back office manned by tax experts and officials without any personal interface between the taxpayer and the tax officer. आगे चल के स्क्रूटनी के लिए भी आपको दफ्तर नहीं जाना पड़ेगा और किसका स्क्रूटनी हो रही है और कौन अफसर है ये दोनों को एक दूसरे का परिचय नहीं मालूम पड़ेगा, वो कंप्यूटर के थ्रू एनोनिमाइज हो जाए. Reducing the tax burden on the middle class. Reducing the tax burden on the middle class has always been our priority ever since our government took office in 2014. We increased the basic exemption limit from 2 lakh to 2.5 lakh and gave tax rebate so that no tax was payable by persons having income up to rupees 3 lakhs. We also reduced the tax rate from 10% to 5% for the tax slab from 2.5 lakh to 5 lakh and introduced standard deduction of rupees 40,000 for the salaried class. Deduction of savings under section 80C was increased from 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh. Deduction of interest for self-occupied house property was raised from 1.5 lakh to 2 lakh. इतने सारे प्रभावी कदम उठाए गए जिससे लगातार हर वर्ष मध्यम वर्गीय और खासतौर पे जो वेतन पाते हैं उन सबको लगातार कुछ ना कुछ लाभ देने के प्रयत्न इस सरकार ने पिछले 4 साल में 4.5 साल में लगातार किए हैं. Special benefits and incentives were also given to small businesses and startups. Overall compliance processes were simplified. Threshold limit for presumptive taxation of business was raised from 1 crore to 2 crores. The benefit of presumptive taxation was extended for the first time to small professionals having threshold limit of 50 lakh rupees. In order to promote a less cash economy, the presumptive profit rate has been reduced from 8% to 6%. The tax rate for companies with turnover of up to rupees 250 crore, और ये लगभग 99% कंपनियां इसमें आ जाती हैं. 250 करोड़ तक के जो टर्नओवर की कंपनी हैं 99% कंपनियां इसके अंतर्गत आ जाती हैं. इनका भी टैक्स रेट 30 से घटा के 25% सरकार ने पिछले वर्षों में कर दिया. We have also made this 25% applicable to new manufacturing companies without any turnover limit. नए उद्योग को प्रोत्साहन देने के लिए बिना लिमिट 25% ही सिर्फ इनकम टैक्स रखते हैं. GST reform for benefit to consumers and businesses. The goods and services tax reforms lingered on during the previous government for almost a decade. Our government implemented the GST which is undoubtedly the biggest taxation reform undertaken since independence. 70 different taxes levied by the central and state and union territory governments were, with cascading effect of tax on tax, were consolidated into one GST. India became one common market. GST has resulted in increased tax base, higher collections and ease of trade. This will reduce the interface between the taxpayer and the government for day-to-day operations and assessments. Now, returns are fully online and e-way bill system is in place. Interstate movements have become faster, more efficient, hassle-free, with no entry tax, check post, truck queues, ये सब इतिहास के पन्नों में चले गए. अब आसानी से व्यापार हो सकता है अलग-अलग राज्यों के बीच में. The high taxation levied on multiple commodities in the pre-GST regime has been rationalized, and the burden on the consumer, especially the poor and the middle class, has been significantly reduced. आप सभी जानते हैं कि जीएसटी काउंसिल में केंद्र सरकार है और सभी राज्यों की और यूनियन टेरिटरी की सरकार मिलके जीएसटी काउंसिल में एक साथ मिलके सब सर्वसम्मति से निर्णय लेती है. इस जीएसटी काउंसिल ने अलग-अलग रेट्स, पुराने के रेट्स को देखते हुए अलग-अलग रेट्स निर्धारित किए थे और लगभग सभी रेट ऐसे निर्धारित करने की कोशिश की कि जो प्री जीएसटी रेट से कम थे. Since then, GST has been continuously reduced, providing relief of further 80,000 crore annually to the customers, to the consumers. Most items of daily use of the poor and middle class are now in the 0 to 5% tax slab. अब उरी देखने के बाद कुछ तो सिनेमा हॉल्स के प्रति भी और सिनेमा देखने वाले सभी जनता के प्रति संवेदना की भावना स्वाभाविक रूप से आती है. सिनेमा गोअर्स जिनको अलग-अलग टैक्स के रेट्स होते थे और कई राज्यों में तो 50% से अधिक टैक्स लगता था, अब साधारणतः अधिकांश जो सिनेमा हॉल्स हैं उसमें मात्र 12% जीएसटी लगता है. Our government wants the GST burden on home buyers. जो घर खरीदते हैं उनके ऊपर भी जीएसटी का बर्डन कम होना चाहिए. उसके हिसाब से हमने जीएसटी काउंसिल को रिक्वेस्ट करके एक ग्रुप ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स तय किए और वो ग्रुप ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स अब पूरी तरीके से देख रहे हैं कि जो घर खरीदने वाले हैं उनका टैक्स का बर्डन कैसे कम किया जाए. उनके रिकमेंडेशंस आएंगे तो उस पर जीएसटी काउंसिल उचित निर्णय लेगा. GST aims to benefit small traders, manufacturers and service providers. Exemptions from GST for small businesses have been doubled from 20 lakh to 40 lakhs. Further, small businesses having turnover up to 1.5 crore have been given an attractive composition scheme wherein they pay only 1% flat rate and have to file only one annual return. Similarly, small service providers with turnover up to 50 lakhs can now opt for composition scheme and pay GST at 6% only instead of 18%. More than 35 lakh small traders, manufacturers and service providers will benefit from these trader-friendly measures. Soon, businesses comprising over 90% of GST payers will be allowed to file quarterly return. जिसकी भी टोटल टर्नओवर 5 करोड़ से कम है उनको सिर्फ 3 महीने में एक बार रिटर्न भरना पड़ेगा. In spite of such major rate reductions and relaxations, revenue trends are encouraging. The average monthly tax collection in the current year is 97,100 crore per month as compared to 89,700 crore last year. और अब तो सिर्फ दूसरा ही साल चल रहा है, इसमें इतनी वृद्धि हो गई. कल फिगर आया कि अंदाजन इस साल का जनवरी का जो जीएसटी है वो तो 1 लाख करोड़ को पार कर रहा है. 1,03,000. लगभग 1,03,000 करोड़ इस जनवरी का जीएसटी कलेक्शन अनुमानित है. The state revenues are improving with guaranteed 14% annual revenue increase for the first 5 years. हर राज्य को 14% उनके टैक्स का ग्रोथ केंद्र सरकार ने सुनिश्चित किया है और अंडरराइट किया है. इसका कम भी हो ग्रोथ तो केंद्र सरकार अधिक पैसा देती है. तो मैं समझता हूं ये अपने आप में एक विशेषता रही जीएसटी को लागू करने में और सफलता से लागू करने में. Customs and trading across borders reforms. To promote the Make in India initiative, we have undertaken rationalization of customs duties and procedures. Our government has abolished duties on 36 capital goods. A revised system of importing duty-free capital goods and inputs for manufacture and export has been introduced, along with introduction of single point of approval under Section 65 of the Customs Act. Indian Customs is introducing full and comprehensive digitization of export-import transactions and leveraging RFID to improve export logistics. Demonetization and drive against black money. Our government is committed to eliminating the ills of black money from our country. The anti-black money measures taken by us during the last 4.5 years in the form of black money law, the Fugitive Criminal Offenders Act and demonetization have brought undisclosed income of about 1,30,000 crore to tax, led to seizure and attachment of assets worth approximately 50,000 crores and compelled holders of large cash currency to disclose their source of earnings. During this period, Benami assets worth rupees 6,900 crore and foreign assets worth rupees 1,600 crore have also been attached. As many as 3,38,000 shell companies have been detected and deregistered and their directors disqualified. Growth of 18% in direct tax collection in 2017-18 and increase in tax base by as many as 1 crore 6 lakh people filing income tax returns for the first time in the financial year 17-18. 1 करोड़ से अधिक लोगों ने डिमोनेटाइजेशन के बाद पहली बार इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न भरा. विजन फॉर द नेक्स्ट डिकेड. ये सरकार माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के कुशल नेतृत्व में बहुत ही तेज गति से प्रगति कर रही है और समाज के हर वर्ग तक विकास पहुंचे इसके लिए प्रतिबद्ध है. अब आने वाले 10 वर्ष का मैं थोड़ा आपके समक्ष रखना चाहूंगा. मैडम स्पीकर, द NDA government headed by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has laid the foundation for India's growth and development for times to come. माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक बार जिक्र किया था, शायद रामलीला की याद फिर एक बार सबको आ रही है. We have resolved many problems which were coming in the way of realizing our full potential as a society and an economy. We are poised to become a $5 trillion economy in the next 5 years and we aspire to become a $10 trillion economy in the next 8 years thereafter. In the Indian ethos, anything which is good is supposed to bestow, cause, create and do good in all 10 directions. कुछ अच्छा काम करो तो चारों दिशाओं में वो फैलना चाहिए और उसका लाभ चारों दिशा तक पहुंचना चाहिए. I will therefore lay out our vision for the 10 most important dimensions जो हमें 2030 तक इस देश को और हमारी सरकार को प्रेरणा देगा. The first dimension of this vision will be to build infrastructure, physical as well as social, for a $10 trillion economy and to provide ease of living. Not only ease of business, ease of living. It will comprise next generation infrastructure for roads, railways, seaports, airports, urban transport, gas and electric transmission, and inland waterways. On the social infrastructure side, every family will have a roof on its head and we will live in a healthy, clean and wholesome environment. We will also build a quality, science-oriented educational system with institutes of excellence providing leadership at the top. The second dimension of our vision is to create a digital India reaching every sector of the economy, every corner of the country and impacting the life of all Indians. Digital infrastructure and digital economy of 2030 will be built upon the successes achieved in recent years in digitization of government processes and private transactions. Our youth will lead us in this endeavor with innumerable startups, creating digital India and millions of jobs in the ecosystem. Making India a pollution-free nation with green Mother Earth and blue skies is the third dimension of our vision. This India, Madam Speaker, this India will drive on electric vehicles. With renewables becoming a major source of energy supply. India will lead the world in the transport revolution through electric vehicles and energy storage devices, bringing down import dependence and ensuring energy security for our people. Madam Speaker, जब विदेश से हमें तेल नहीं लाना पड़ेगा, गैस नहीं लानी पड़ेगी, तो मुझे और रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के नए स्रोतों और तेज गति से बिजली देंगे और इलेक्ट्रिक कार्स में लोग सफर करेंगे. मेरा मानना है विदेशी मुद्रा बचेगी और देश आत्मनिर्भर बनेगा. Expanding rural industrialization using modern digital technologies to generate massive employment is the fourth dimension of our vision. This will be built upon the Make in India approach to develop grassroots level clusters, structures and mechanisms encompassing the MSMEs, village industries and startups spread in every nook and corner of the country. India is now on the way to become a global manufacturing hub in various sectors, including automobiles and electronics, defense and medical devices. Our rivers and water bodies are our life-supporting assets. Our government has worked vigorously for cleaning River Ganga. Fifth dimension of our vision for India of 2030 is clean rivers with safe drinking water to all Indians, sustaining and nourishing life and efficient use of water in irrigation using micro-irrigation techniques. India's long coastline has the potential of becoming the strength of the economy, particularly through exploitation of the blue economy, to ensure better standards and quality of life for a large number of people living in the coastal areas. मैं समझता हूँ गुजरात के दिनों से ही माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की संवेदना ये लोगों के साथ रही है जो मछुआरे हैं, जो कोस्ट के साथ काम करते हैं. Our efforts in the Sagarmala program will be scaled up and we will develop other inland waterways faster. Our coastline and our ocean waters powering India's development and growth is the sixth dimension of our vision. The seventh dimension of our vision aims at the outer skies. Our space program, Gaganyaan, India becoming the launch pad of satellites for the world and placing an Indian astronaut into space by 2022 reflect this dimension of our vision. Making India self-sufficient in food, exporting to the world to meet their food needs, and producing food in the most organic way is the eighth dimension of our vision. High farm production and productivity will be achieved through modern agricultural practices and value addition. An integrated approach towards agro and food processing, preservation, packaging and maintenance of the cold chain will be our focus of attention. A healthy India is the ninth dimension of our vision. We will be aiming at healthy society with an environment of health assurance and the support of necessary infrastructure. Our government has rolled out the Ayushman Bharat scheme. By 2030, we will work towards a distress-free healthcare and a functional and comprehensive wellness system for all. Such a healthy India, built with the participation of women, having equal rights and concern for their safety and empowerment. Madam Speaker, our vision can be delivered by Team India. Our employees working together with the elected government, transforming India into a minimum government, maximum governance nation. This is the 10th dimension. Our India of 2030 will have a proactive and responsible bureaucracy which will be viewed as friendly to the people. With this comprehensive 10-dimensional vision, we will create an India where poverty, malnutrition, littering and illiteracy would be a matter of the past. India would be a modern, technology-driven, high-growth, equitable and transparent society. Madam, I come to the fiscal program for 2019-20 and beyond. The estimate of incomes and expenditure, which I am presenting today, pegs the fiscal deficit of year 2019-20 at 3.4% of the GDP. We would have maintained fiscal deficit at 3.3% for the current year very easily, and maybe taken more steps to further consolidate the fiscal deficit in the next year. However, considering the need for income support to the farmers, we have provided 20,000 crore in the current year, revised estimate, and 75,000 crore next year. If we exclude this, the fiscal deficit would have been less than 3.3% for the current year and less than 3.1% for next year. The total expenditure rises from 24,57,235 crore in 18-19 revised estimate to 27,84,200 crore in the 19-20 budget estimate, a rise of approximately 13.3%. और इसको इस परिप्रेक्ष्य में देखना होगा कि 10% से महंगाई हम सिर्फ 4.5% पे ले आए। तो ये नॉमिनल ग्रोथ के हिसाब से खर्चा बढ़ता है। अगर 10% महंगाई के हिसाब से चलता तो आप सोचिए इसमें ग्रोथ कुछ भी नहीं होती। तो ये हमारे काम के परिणाम है कि कम महंगाई और फिर भी तेज गति से सरकार खर्चा कर रही है। Centrally sponsored schemes. This reflects a high increase considering low inflation. Capital expenditure for 2019-20 budget estimate is estimated to be 3 36,292 crores. Centrally sponsored schemes are proposed to be allocated 3,27,679 crore in the budget estimate 1920, as against 3,04,849 crore in the revised estimate of the current year. Allocation for National Education Mission is being increased from 32,334 crore in the revised estimate to 38,572 crore in budget estimate 1920. Allocation for Integrated Child Development Scheme is being increased from 23,357 crore in REs 1819 to 27,584 crore in BE 1920. A substantial increase is proposed in the allocation for welfare of the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. The allocation of rupees 56,619 crore made in budget estimate 1819 for scheduled castes further increased to rupees 62,474 crore in our revised estimate of the current year, and is now proposed to be further increased in the budget estimate next year to 76,801 crore. ये 35% बढ़ोतरी है शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट के लिए, 35.6% increase. For the scheduled tribes also, proposed allocation in budget estimate 1920 is rupees 50,086 crore as against 39,135 crore in budget estimate 1819, an increase of 28%. We have pursued the public enterprises asset management agenda to make these enterprises accountable to the people. As many as 57 central public sector enterprises are now listed with a market cap of over 13 lakh crores. The government received 1 lakh crore from disinvestment proceeds last year. We are confident of crossing the target of rupees 80,000 crore this year. We have maintained the glide path towards our target of 3% of fiscal deficit to be achieved by 2020-21. India's debt to GDP, which was 46.5% in 17-18, while the FRBM Act prescribes that the debt to GDP ratio should be brought down to 40% by 2024-25. Along with completion of our fiscal deficit consolidation program, we'll now focus on debt consolidation program. Our government had promised last year that we will carry out reforms in stamp duty levied and collected on financial securities transactions. I am proposing, therefore, through the finance bill, necessary amendments in this regard. The amendments proposed will usher in a very streamlined system. Stamp duties would be levied on one instrument relating to one transaction and get collected only at one place through the stock exchange. The duty so collected will be shared with all the state governments seamlessly on the basis of domicile of the buying client. Madam Speaker, now I come to Part B of the tax proposals. On behalf of all the people of India and on behalf of our government, I would first like to thank all our taxpayers for their valuable contribution to nation building and for providing a better quality life to the poor and marginalized sections of society. Your tax helps provide dignity to our sisters and mothers with toilets and cooking gas connections. Your tax pays for the electricity connections to the poor who have lived in darkness for generations. The tax you pay will provide health care to 50 crore brothers and sisters and children. It is you who is ensuring. It is you who is ensuring respect, dignity, and a secure future to our retired Jawans through one rank, one pension. Thank you, taxpayers. Because of all these major tax reforms undertaken by us during the last 4.5 years, both tax collection as well as the tax base have shown significant increase, and we have made progress towards achieving a moderate taxation, high compliance regime. It is therefore just and equitable that some benefits from the tax reforms must also be passed on to the middle class taxpayers. Keeping this in view, I propose to further reduce the tax burden on such taxpayers. Though, Madam Speaker, as per convention, the main tax proposals will be presented in the regular budget, small taxpayers, especially the middle class, salary earners, pensioners, and senior citizens, need certainty in their minds at the beginning of the year about their taxes. Therefore, proposals particularly relating to such class of persons should not wait. Hence, while for the present, the existing rates of income tax will continue for FY 19-20 also, I propose the following changes. Individual taxpayers having taxable annual income up to rupees 5 lakhs will get full tax rebate. To pay any tax. As a result, even persons having gross income up to rupees 6.5 lakhs may not be required to pay any income tax if they make investments in provident funds, specified savings, insurance, etc. 6.5 लाख तक जब आप ये इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हो तो 6.5 लाख तक भी कोई टैक्स नहीं आएगा अगर आप इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हो स्पेसिफाइड सेविंग्स में. In fact, with additional deductions such as interest on home loan up to 2 lakhs, interest on educational loans, national pension scheme contributions, medical insurance, medical expenditure on senior citizens, with all of these other exemptions, deductions, persons having even higher income will not have to pay any tax. This will provide tax benefit of 18,500 crore rupees to an estimated 3 crore middle class taxpayers comprising self-employed, small business, small traders, salary earners, pensioners and senior citizens. ऐसे लगभग 3 करोड़ लोग अलग अलग वर्गों से मध्यम वर्गीय उनको टैक्स से लगभग इससे पूरी तरीके से मुक्ति मिल जाएगी। For salaried persons, standard deduction is being raised from the current 40,000 to rupees 50,000. This will provide additional tax benefit of rupees 4,700 crore to more than 3 crore salary earners and pensioners. Currently, income tax on notional rent is payable if one has more than one self-occupied house. Considering the difficulty of the middle class having to maintain families at 2 locations on account of their job, children's education, care of parents, etc., I am proposing to exempt levy of income tax on notional rent on a second self-occupied house. ये बहुत खास एक विषय मैं आप सबके समक्ष रखना चाह रहा हूं। TDS threshold on interest earned on bank or post office deposits is being raised from 10,000 to 40,000 rupees. ये मैं मैडम स्पीकर इसलिए महत्व कह रहा हूं कि कई हमारे पेंशनर्स हैं, कई महिलाएं हैं जो नौकरी या काम नहीं करती हैं पर उनकी पूंजी बैंक में रखती हैं, उनको टीडीएस के कारण उनको इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न भरना पड़ता था, रिफंड लेना पड़ता था। अब 40,000 तक जब ब्याज मिलेगा बैंक से या पोस्ट ऑफिस डिपॉजिट से, उस पे टीडीएस नहीं होगा। This will benefit small depositors and non-working spouses. Further, the TDS threshold for deduction of tax on rent is proposed to be increased from 1,80,000 to 2,40,000. अगर आप रेंट 2,40,000 तक होता है तो टीडीएस की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। मैडम, एक मध्यम वर्गीय परिवारों में एक और ज्वलंत समस्या कई बार देखी गई। मैं मुंबई से आता हूं, मुंबई में हमने कई बार देखा कोई दक्षिण मुंबई में रहता है, वो अपना घर बेच के दोनों बच्चों के लिए 2 घर खरीदना चाहे, दूर इलाकों में जाना चाहे, तो उसके लिए एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय सरकार ने इस बजट द्वारा लिया है। द बेनिफिट ऑफ रोल ओवर ऑफ कैपिटल गेन्स अंडर सेक्शन 54 of the Income Tax Act will be increased from investment in 1 residential house to 2 residential houses for a taxpayer having capital gains up to rupees 2 crores. This benefit can be availed once in a lifetime. For making मैडम अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग को प्रोत्साहन देने के लिए, for making more homes available under affordable housing, the benefits under section 81BA of the Income Tax Act is being extended for 1 more year. 80 IBA of the Income Tax Act is being extended for 1 more year. That is to all the housing projects which are approved till 31st March 2020. तो अब जो भी नया हाउसिंग प्रोजेक्ट बनेगा गरीबों के लिए, मध्यम वर्गीय, 2020 तक अपने आप को अगर रजिस्टर कर ले तो उसको इनकम टैक्स में छूट मिलेगी। Also, for giving impetus to the real estate sector, I have proposed to extend the period of exemption from levy of notional income tax on income tax on notional rent on unsold inventories from 1 year to 2 years from the end of the year in which the project is completed. कभी हमारे पास किसी के पास कोई घर है अभी बिका नहीं है, कोई ऑफिस है बिका नहीं है, तो 1 साल के बाद नोशनल रेंट पे इनकम टैक्स भरना पड़ता था, अब वो 2 साल तक उनको इनकम टैक्स की छूट दे दी गई है। मैडम, मैं अपने कंक्लूडिंग रिमार्क्स पे आता हूं। अध्यक्षा महोदय, यह सिर्फ इंटरिम बजट नहीं है, यह देश की विकास यात्रा का माध्यम है। ये जो देश बदल रहा है, देशवासियों के जोश से बदल रहा है। उसका श्रेय और उसका यश उन्हीं को जाता है, भारत की जनता को जाता है। हमारी सरकार के कार्यकाल में विकास एक जन आंदोलन बन गया है। मैडम स्पीकर, हिंदी के एक बहुत विख्यात कवि थे, बहुत प्रगतिशील माने जाते थे, हिंदी में कविता करते थे, पर मूलतः मेरे राज्य महाराष्ट्र से आते थे, जहां से मैं भी आता हूं। मराठी भाषी थे। उनकी एक कविता की मात्र 2 पंक्तियां आपके समक्ष रखना चाहता हूं, सिर्फ 2 पंक्तियां। एक पांव रखता हूं, 1000 राहें फूट पड़ती हैं। हमने नए भारत के निर्माण के लिए इतने नए सशक्त प्रभावी कदम उठाए हैं कि आज भारत हर क्षेत्र में दुनिया के स्तर पर अनंत संभावनाओं से भरा हुआ देश ऐसे देखा जाता है। हम देशवासियों के बलबूते पर भारत को दुनिया का एक अग्रणी देश बनाएंगे। हम सबने साथ मिलकर अभी नींव रखी है। We have only created the foundation. अब भारत की जनता के साथ मिलकर इस देश की भव्य इमारत बनाने जा रहे हैं। मैडम स्पीकर, इसके लिए हमने एक निर्णायक नेतृत्व दिया, जिसकी नीयत साफ है, नीति स्पष्ट है और निष्ठा अटल है। नीयत साफ है, नीति स्पष्ट है और निष्ठा अटल है। With this, Madam Speaker, I commend the budget to this august House.
Item number 2. Item number 2. Piyush ji. यस अभी नहीं, अभी उनको करने दो। पीयूष जी
तब तक शांत रहे, तब तक आप बोले, तब तक शांत रहे।
आइटम नंबर
तब तक हम शांत रहे। इसको देख लीजिए।
Madam, I rise to lay on the table medium-term fiscal policy strategy statement and number 2 macroeconomic framework statement under section 3(1) of the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management FRBM Act 2003.
यस आइटम नंबर 3।
Madam, I rise to move for leave to introduce the Finance Bill 2019.
Yes. The question is that you be granted to introduce the Finance Bill 2009. Those in favor may say aye. Those against may say no. I think the ayes have it. Ayes have it. Leave is granted. The minister may now introduce the Finance.
Madam, I introduce the bill.
The House stands adjourned to meet again on Monday, the 4th February 2019 at 11 a.m.